Make sure you stick around until the end to see how you can win free gear and products. Have you ever been staring at a core or a cylinder, not having a clue of what key blank it takes? Maybe you don't even know where to start, or even if you have the key available. Well, my name is PJ at CLK Supplies, and I'm going to show you a couple tips that are going to help you to be able to identify which key blank you need. Let's get started. All right, now I'm going to be using the SFIC best cylinders as an example here because they're, I think, one of the more difficult ones to identify when they're sitting there in the door. Okay, so to do that though, I first want to go over some basic principles that you're going to be able to use when you're trying to figure this out. Now, even if you never touch SFIC cores, okay, and that doesn't interest you, the principles I'm going to be going over apply to everything, okay? So don't let the example here throw you off that it can't be helpful, because it can be. So the first thing I want to talk about is the ILCO book here, okay? The JMA book you can use as well. Really any of the key blank directories you can use. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to the best section because that's what we're going to be going over here. And whenever you look at the keys, okay, and you see all the grooves sitting here on the page, okay, there's always a little confusion about this. And a lot of people think that when you look at the groove, okay, let me turn it sideways so you can see it here. So when you look at like this groove here and you look at and you take a key, a lot of times people want to compare the groove that they see in the picture here to the groove that they're looking at down the Keyway profile like this. All right, so there's the key, put it up like this, and you start to compare. The problem is that's not how these images are actually shown. It's going to be the reverse. How these images are actually shown, okay, is if you were to take the key and put it down on the profile right here to see if it works, okay? So that's how you need to be reading these catalogs. Now, why is this important to you? Because the best part about this is that when you look at this Keyway profile, it's actually the same as looking at a cylinder and looking down at the profile, okay? Because so this is going to exactly match what you see looking at the actual profile on the cylinder. So that's what's super helpful. So no matter what you get out of this video, I really hope you understand that when you're looking at this profile, it's actually going to be the same as looking at a cylinder. So if you find yourself looking at any sort of lock cylinder, get the book out and actually start to compare the profiles, because you're going to get really far by just doing that. But what I want to do is I want to take it even a step further, and we're going to be using the best SFIC here as an example, okay? Now, in the notes below, I'm going to just go ahead and set this off to the side here. Now in the notes below, you're going to find a link to a document you can download that's going to look just like this one, okay? And as what I've done for the SFIC is I've actually taken all of the keyways here and I've listed them based on the top right groove angle, okay? As you can see, it's a little picture right here. This is what I'm talking about. And you can see them all listed here, and then the W series down here. Now, I'm doing this because this is one of the more harder ones to identify. However, if you use the principle I'm going to be going over here, it's going to help you identify all sorts of keyways based on looking at the profile on the actual plug of the cylinder. So what we're going to do here, okay, I'm going to zoom in this camera. All right, there you go. And that way, I really want you to see what we have going on here, okay? So if you look at the top right groove here, okay? So now you don't have to use this method. However, you want to use the same principle. So you might want to take the bottom angle or something on the left. You can really use anything, okay? But I prefer, for whatever reason, to use this top right. So what I've done here is I've taken all of the angles and I've divided them into 3 categories, okay? A major angle, a minor angle, and then more of a flat. Now, this isn't an exact science, all right, by any stretch of the imagination, but you're really gonna get somewhere really quickly by doing it this way. So what I did here is I grabbed a couple keyways, and let me get this zoomed in good here. All right, so hopefully you'll be able to see this pretty well here. All right, now what we want to do is look at that top right angle. All right, so I'm gonna move it so I can actually see it pretty well. Hopefully you can in the camera as well. Okay, so this one, so is what we're looking at here is we're looking at that first major angle, okay, on the top right. And this one right here is flat. Okay, so this one looks very flat to me. So what we do here is what I want to do is you can pull this up and you'll see the flat ones listed right here. And then what I'm going to do is I want to work down. Okay, so I want to work down the right side and then we'll go over to the left is how I like to do it. So what we want to do here is we want to look down and we just want to see the characteristics of what we have going on here. So as you can see right here in this one is it has a couple different little grooves sticking out on the right. Right, there's one right underneath that flat one here, okay? So if we go down here, as we can see, this one's not gonna be it because there's nothing like that. This one, there is. You can see the two sticking out right here. Same with here, but just by looking at the keyway, I can tell you that's not gonna be the one. There's this one, which doesn't even look anything close to it. And then there's this one that looks pretty gosh darn close. That one definitely. That one, there's too big of a gap there. And maybe that one a little bit as well. Okay, so we have it narrowed down to a few of them here. So now I'm gonna go to the left side and I wanna look at the grooves there. And I also like to look at the difference of the gap at the very bottom here, okay? That little gap, as you can see, you know, some of them are kind of similar, but like this one here, it starts to really change a little bit. And so it just really helps to kind of get a good grip. So once you kind of get a good development there, you can almost already see right now just by looking at it, okay, with these angles, that it's really going to be the M, the L, or the J. So once we kind of have that figured out, now I want to go to the left side and look at the grooves, okay? So let me kind of bring this in close to me here a little bit so I can see it. And what you're going to see is, you know, it almost looks like part of a tree on the left side with the bottom part here, which is bigger. You see how if I were to kind of block that off right there, see how it almost looks kind of like a part of a Christmas tree? Same with that one and that one, but you can see if you kind of hold up the shapes like that, they start to look quite a bit different. So when you really start looking at it, you can see without a doubt, I know it's going to be this J keyway, okay? So that's a real basic rundown on how to do that. Let me go and grab another cylinder here. Okay, this is a more basic one. Let me put that up for you. Hopefully you can get a good look at it, all right? So this one, okay, this has a very slight, a minor angle on the top right. So we know it's gonna be one of these. Okay, so once again, is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of look at it and there's not any extra bumps. So there's only one bump sticking out of it, all right? And then it kind of comes back in. So it's not very big either. So just by going there, you know, we can tell, I can definitely tell it's not the A, and I can tell it's not this one, it's not this one. Let's see here. It's definitely not any of these TAs or T's over here. So we're really starting to get narrowed down to a couple different ones. All right. So what I want to do once again is look over, look at the bottom gap right here. We're looking at that. Then I'm going to go over and look. And this is really the big thing here. So if you look at this keyway on the right side, you're going to see just a very, very little tiny part at the end here, kind of like these. See how those are real small? You can definitely tell. So this one right here, even though it has the one little bump, that gap right there automatically is going to disqualify it. So then we go over, which really only leaves us down to these couple here now. So when you look at those, then you look at the other side on the left, you can see it's a really small little, you know, part of a Christmas tree sticking out of there. So if I hold those up, you can see that this is a really small one. So we know this is going to be a E cylinder. Let's go ahead and just do one more here. All right, so if we look at this one here, we can see that this has a major angle in it. All right, we can see it has a major angle. So we go up here to the major angle ones. Now we're here is what we're going to be doing is I first want to, because these are pretty simple ones, I want to go down and I want to look at the bottom right and see what kind of gap I have here between the bottom of the keyway and where that angle comes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that up and look. I can see it's actually a very, very small angle. Okay, so once again, that's really going to be narrowing me down here to, it's definitely not going to be the B, And it's either going to be the D or the DD or the G is what it's looking like to me. So I'm going to go to the other side once again, and I'm going to look at the little part of the Christmas tree sticking out of there by doing that, okay? So that's how I imagine it. Now, of course, you might imagine it differently, but that's just how I have always come to do it. All right, so by looking at them here, I can definitely tell due to the little piece sticking out that it's going to be this D, all right, because of the little groove on the angle there. So that's how you figure it out. So that's how you want to start looking at the angles. Definitely if you're working on the SFIC, download this document. It'll really help kind of get to the bottom of it, but you can use these same principles when you are trying to find any sort of key for any sort of keyway by doing this. Well, I really hope that these tips helped. Make sure you download the PDF document in the notes below. I'd love to know what you think, or if you have any extra tips that can help to identify which keyway it is. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. On how you can identify which key uses that you can identify what key goes into what key blank. How to identify what key blank you need. Let's get started. There we go. Have you ever been Have you ever been staring at a core or a cylinder, wondering what key it is, not even understand? No. Have you ever been Well, I'm PJ at CLK Supplies, and we're gonna, oh darn it, that was good too, that was good. Well, I'm PJ with CLK Supplies, and in this video, I'm gonna give you a few really helpful tips. Wow, okay. All right, let's get it together here. I'm guessing if you just watched this video that you work with locks and keys. And to us here at CLK Supplies, that makes you a lock boss. And we wanna hook you up. Here's how it works. Throughout the week, we post videos on YouTube, like the one you just watched. And all you need to do is comment on the videos and include the hashtag lockboss. When you do this, you're automatically entered in to win one of 5 free prizes that we give out each and every week. No purchase necessary. So if you're a lock boss, join us each week to learn, grow, and win. Have you ever been